up, beautiful people? Welcome to Spilled Milk, where there's no point in crying over spilled milk. Why? Because we weren't going to drink it anyway. So last week I picked up the Violife Just Like Mature Cheddar Slices. And in it actually came this recipe for the perfect vegan nachos. Not a vegan, but always down to try something new and dairy-free. Nacho cheese is new to me. I've never really had it for being dairy-free. I don't eat my nachos with it, obviously, and so I don't really miss it. But I figured I'd try it out. Why not? I don't usually try recipes in the package because I usually don't want to make whatever they're making, but this seemed interesting. Figured I'd give it a shot. Couple things though. It requires, let's see, fresh coriander on the top, which I don't have. Fresh jalapeno peppers, which I don't normally eat. I like some spice, but usually for cayenne, not for jalapeno. Coconut butter. I'm actually using the Miyoko cultured vegan butter, which I love, so I think it'll be fine. And then coconut milk. I don't drink coconut milk. I drink almond milk, so I'm using that. I drink coconut milk. I just don't buy coconut milk. And then anything else I'm substituting? No, that's about it. Quick note, this recipe comes in grams. If you're in the UK or anywhere that's pretty much not the US, that's fine. Had to do a quick bit of conversion, a little bit of math, but I'm ready to go. So let's try it out. One of my favorite things about Miyoko is also that they put the helpful measurements on the wrapper, just like you would have in like regular butter, and it's super helpful because 50 grams is about 2 tablespoons. And put it right side up. I can just note that there. I'm interested to see how this recipe will come out because I'm pretty much winging this. Kind of like a little bit over on the milk. None of the ingredients are exact, but I think it'll be fine. There's always room for creativity in making food. So let's see what happens. Something I think is interesting that I just noticed is that the butter and the milk are in milliliters and grams, whereas the flour is in a tablespoon. So I think it's interesting that half of them are in metric system and half of it's in the non-metric system. I don't know the opposite. But anyway, let's do this. Gonna add my flour into my butter. Give that a good little mix. So the next step was just to whisk the flour and the butter together until smooth, getting out all the little lumpy bits. And this is what's called a roux. A roux is just butter and flour. It's the base of like several sauces, and apparently the base for this nacho cheese sauce. All right, adding the coconut milk, or almond milk, and the milk. Stir. Salt. Need both hands so y'all don't get to see that. A dash of paprika. And continuously stir until it becomes a rich, thick paste. See how long that takes. I'm now wondering if it suggested coconut milk because of the added fat of coconut. I don't know. It's also bubbling up nicely. I know it says continuously stir, but I feel like just letting it cook a little bit will thicken it up quicker. I'm gonna go with that theory and give it like 30 seconds to a minute bites. It's literally been about a minute, and this is how it looks. And you see like on the edges where it is kind of thickening up and forming a bit of what's that called? Not like a crust, but like a film. I think that's what we're looking for. Let's give it a stir and see what we got. Yeah, okay. What does this say? Rich, thick paste. Okay, not quite there yet. So I'm gonna leave it alone again and come back. It's been about 4 minutes. I moved it around a little bit just to see kind of how it works, how it flows, if it's gotten to that thick, rich paste quality that we're apparently looking for. Not quite there yet. So I think it's gonna take a little bit longer. Give it another few minutes, check it out and see. I think it's pretty close to where it needs to be, and I'm also concerned about cooking down or cooking out the mixture at this point, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it off and add the cheese. The recipe calls for 5 of the cheddar cheese slices. I'm adding them, I think 2 at a time at this point, because I've noticed this cheese doesn't melt very well. So I don't want to add the ball in there and end up with a huge mess. I'm gonna try to take it slow and hopefully it'll melt down. Okay, so what we have so far is a mess. We've got that thick paste now that it's not on the heat, but this cheese is not really melting. So I'm gonna add it on low heat, and I'm actually gonna possibly put a little more milk into it to maybe loosen up a little bit, and we'll see how that works out. Okay, so I'm 4 slices in with some aggressive stirring, and this is what we've got so far. It's looking okay. There's still a little bit of cheesy bits in there. Need some more aggressive stirring and adding 1 more cheddar slice, and then we'll see where we're at. So when I say aggressive stirring, I mean like I got an arm workout trying to mix this daggone cheese into this roux. Like it was a lot of work, and that's one of my main problems with the cheese, and actually why I wouldn't use it again for this or anything else. It just doesn't melt easily or well. For something like this, I think it should be a lot easier to incorporate. So at this point, I've just added the last slice of cheese, but I'm noticing it's looking pretty weird. Like right before this, it was perfect. There was some stretch, there was some goo, it was a great texture, and now it's just looking kind of funky. So I took it off the heat, and I'm just stirring it to see kind of what's going on. It looks like it's separating, so like maybe the butter's too hot, or like I don't even know at this point. It just looks kind of like a mess. It's really greasy looking and not really sure what's happening. So trying to figure that out. So right before the 5th slice of cheese, it was actually looking really nice. The fifth slice of cheese somehow threw it all out of whack, or the heat was too much. The butter's really coming through and it's starting to separate. So I'm gonna let it cool down a little bit and then come back to it and see what happens. I may add more flour to thicken up, but my guess is that it's now too hot and the butter is making it separate, so I'm gonna leave it alone and see what happens. Been a couple minutes and it's still looking like this. I tried to pick it up to taste it and it literally was just grease. So I think I'm gonna have to just call this one a fail. Yeah, I don't know what happened though. Like right before the 5th slice of cheese, it was totally fine. So I don't know if it was the cheese, if it was the heat. I'm not really sure what happened. All right, we're just gonna have to call that one. Didn't work out. Gave it a shot, and it could be any number of things. Like I didn't do the ingredients exact, I didn't do the instructions exact, but it was legitimately perfect, like right before the 5th slice of cheese. And now I'm intrigued and I want to try it like just on my own with a recipe that I can come up with cheese I actually really like. I'm okay with this cheese, but I don't really care for it, which is going to be a review video later. So this will be making a comeback, a different version that hopefully goes better. I was making it for a movie night with friends virtually because it's, you know, Corona time. That starts in 15 minutes. I'm going to grab another snack and catch that. So see y'all next time.